Sava. It's been a while. It's been a hot minute. I've been making shit. I've been in the lab. And, sadly, not everything's coming all out at once. But we're gonna talk about this. And I'm gonna tackle this, because I've re-recorded this like 4 or 5 times. And it doesn't come out right, so I'm just going to rip and see where we go. Okay? So, you read the title of this video. You know what I'm about to talk about. But my take's gonna be different than what you probably see and saw others say about this topic. Mainly because, since I chose to wait so fucking long, my take is going to be inclusive of everything that's happening right now. I'm doing that because you'll figure out and you'll see later. But I'm doing that first off because I can't even begin to talk about this unless I explain where I'm coming from watching this bullshit happen in front of me. Because I can't begin to address the idea and the topic of happenings unless I address this. Because this is going to draw and help us understand everything I'm about to talk about. So, let's dive right into it. To start off with, we're gonna have to do a little bit of a background story. For most people who have just joined the channel recently, either you subbed because you saw the back end of an episode of Top Kick, or because you saw one of my streams, or you saw some, straight up skullduggery tweet that I made. Hi. Hello. This is gonna be for you guys. Back in about July, I had myself a standoff with resident Twitch Thot, Natalie Casanova. Shorthand and official title, Zombie Unicorn. What happened because of that led to the creation of this comment that she made in a tweet that she not only tweeted once and then thought about it and then deleted it and then reposted it, but led to what basically made her block me, a whole fuckload of other people, and basically have herself a whole situation for the whole month of July into August. Now, why is it important that I bring that up? Because even though you could go back on my channel and watch those videos from that time period, this is important because this is going to help us understand moving forward what I'm about to say and why it's important to you, a viewer, and to any person who wants to understand really the core problems about all of this. To get into why this is important to understand, we need to understand exactly why I said what I said to her, and why she would be possessed to say a comment such as this in my general direction. To do that, the only way I know how to tell you is to show you, so I'm gonna just have to show you. Okay, so the entire system that all of the basic brouhaha that this is all caused over works like this, right? So you have you here. So assume you are a woman of moderate attraction, right? You're the classic case of the meme itself. Like, you don't get much attention in life, but you can go online and you can cosplay and you can get a lot of likes. You wanted to be able to turn this thing into something that makes you money, you have to go down this pipeline. The way this pipeline works is that you start making content on a platform where you can get a lot of views, where optimization is keynote. It's got everything you need. So you start somewhere like Instagram. From Instagram, you go to a place like Snapchat, right? Because now you can get yourself some likes, and more importantly, you can get yourself some attention. You can start going to some meetups. You can start organizing some shit on the side. Especially if you want to go out and do some actual fucking thottery. But these two things alone are not enough. Because people looking at you just to look at you is useful. It's useful for influencing if you want it. But you could do better than that. And in truth, you should do better than that. So you start tying things together. You go from a place like Instagram, you go to a place like Snap, then you go to a place like Twitter. And Twitter, being what it is, as a marketplace of the internet, that's where all the opportunities open up to you now. Because let's say you want to go from Instagram and Snapchat and platforms like it to a place like Twitter. Now you can branch it to a lot of places if you really want to. You can do them all at the same time, because they can all feed back to things. You can go to Twitter and then start making YouTube content, and then your YouTube content pushes metrics to your Instagram, which then feeds it back into your Snap, which then feeds it back into your Twitter. You can just branch off and do some actual side hustling, but putting in the time is important work. Whether that be solo videos you made yourself, or you becoming a part of the industry, and then that can lead to you using other means, not just Chatterbait here, but other sites like it. And through this pipeline, you then start shepherding people towards content that you don't have to really do with the amount of effort that would be put onto a camera. Like the kind of effort that we used to put onto a camera at the 2012 period of streaming. Instead of doing 8 hours of streaming and then all of the video content you would normally do, instead the platform status would go to 3 hours of streaming, 3 to maybe 8 hours at most, where it used to be the minimum, and you do that, and then follow that behind with content. Use that structure, and you start funneling people into things like OnlyFans, which is just another form of Patreon, but, it is what it is. You can use Twitter to stem that pipeline into your Twitch, and that's been what basically took over Twitch as a platform. That's why you saw a whole bunch of people being mad as fuck and being mad as hell on the internet, especially concerning people like Natalie losing their fucking head. Which then you can use that to pump it directly into your Patreon, and then you can use your Patreon to directly pump it into your OnlyFans, and then everything goes into that cycle. You can have them go to your OnlyFans and then promote your Patreon, and then Patreon promotes YouTube, which can then promote your Twitch, which then itself can promote your Twitter, which then promotes your Twitch, which promotes your Patreon, which can promote your YouTube, which can promote your platforms, and there the fucking pipeline goes. We know that this is how this works because people admit it. You have some people who will just outright say the truth and admit that this is how it works. Because you have some people like Amaranth who outright admit this. And, of course, Caitlin, Amanda, is in the fucking links too. But I can't show you those. but this is how that works, right? This is the setup of how this works. And the key thing to keep in mind here is that this is not bad. Right? If you were to remove these parts of the cycle, if you're not a person who's interested even going into these industries here, if you were to just consider it like this, right? You go from Instagram to Twitter to Twitch to Patreon to YouTube and then back up to Instagram, that is basically the way that networking functions. That's how the platform tie-ins function. That's how it's supposed to work. There's nothing wrong with that. That's just the system as it is. And it's not the system that causes this problem. It's the fact that when you are a woman on the internet, you can get a whole bunch of horny people who aren't thinking to be simping for you. And you can do that just by fucking horny posting for them. You can do that by baiting them. And then by baiting those easy horny simps that exist here, you can then funnel that into here. And you got even worse here, because this is 95% men. Funnel that over here, now you're getting not just the audience of men that are here, which are majority children, but now you're funneling that on into a bigger platform like YouTube. And if you're already a big person, or you get to the point of being big, or even if you're just a person of moderate size and you start making content over here, which then you start shepherding over to your OnlyFans, that allows you to be able to splinter them off. You start out with a big pipeline, and slowly you start narrowing the channel, and you start shipping them off, and just bleeding these guys out of their money, and bleeding them dry. And this is the part that has them upset, you see. Because, for the most part, they've been able to get away with bleeding guys dry. They're only upset now because they think that it's unfair that they can't do so as easily. And it'd be just as fucked up if it were men. And it is that there are some guys that do it, but the reality is that it's not guys that are taking advantage of the system. It's not guys that are completely beating people out through this with these metrics, using this entire setup, using this strategy. It's mainly women. We're gonna get into it, but that's all you really need to understand if you want to understand the metrics of exactly how that shit applies. So basically, everything I just explained to you there, that's like the rub. That's literally it. That was why. This is something that everybody knows. You know, everybody knows that there is a side to this that gives a person that comes into the platforms with a surge of an audience an inherent boost. It works the same way for men as it does for women. Once you hit the platform, a platform like Twitch, and you broadcast to an audience of mainly kids, because when you're making content and you are an attractive woman, the children are going to gravitate to you because the girls want to look like you, and the boys want to hump you. I'm just being real here. It's in knowing this, as well as knowing, or, expecting, that the majority of people who are going to come at you are probably going to do so because they're jealous of your numbers, rather than actually analyzing and knowing that there's an inherent problem that's happening, and it's that a person is basically bullying a platform by virtue of being a woman to get an advantage that no other male would ever be granted. And we know that they wouldn't, because so many of them get banned off the platform. That they expect to just lean into the angle of misogyny as an excuse. And it doesn't work. And it doesn't work for several reasons. Because the people who are hurt most by Twitch Thots are not the male streamers. No. And I don't mean the contemporaries in her field. The people like XQC and Devin Nash or Asmongold or any of those guys, or Trainwreck. I'm not talking about them. I'm not talking about her contemporaries when I say males. I'm talking about just regular people on the goddamn site. Everyone who's not a streamer who's going to be recognized by someone like Rod Slasher. Basically, I'm not even talking about people like myself. Men like me, we're not even at the level of being affected by that. I have different problems to worry about than people like Natalie. Yes, it's stupid as fuck, and yes, it annoys. It annoys me just like it should annoy anyone else. But it's not me out of the guys that get affected. It's not the men that get fucked up over this. It's the women. The people who are going to get affected most are going to be the people at her level that are in her field, girls that are underneath her, the optics of women on the site, and all the other women who are working diligently to get it fairly and be noticed not because of their body, but because of their talent and their skill and their mastery, proving that they deserve to be there because they deserve the spot, not because they got pushed there because they happened to go in with a large influx and injection of followers to boost their numbers because they chose the easy way out. And it's the same thing in any field. It makes fucking perfect sense when you really fucking think about it. It makes perfect sense because of course that would be the thing. If a person was to get through a system by paying their way through rather than doing it on their merits, and they get caught doing so, people are going to obviously be mad. Because if you can just buy your way to the top, what's the point of ever fucking trying? If you can just steal something, why would you buy it? Same thing applies. And it's knowing that that is the factor here that she wanted to ignore. We can use that to be able to gauge and understand with our common sense why the Streisand effect is in full effect, not just concerning the Melody situation, but concerning all of it. This, the porn audit, Melody herself, the hoes being mad in both cases, Twitch Thots having gotten mad about this, Clout Seekers getting mad about the OnlyFans leak because they're losing out and they're highly fucking frustrated about it. The whole thing itself can be explained by this dynamic. And I'm gonna show you how. Right now. Hey dickheads, if you leak people's OnlyFans content, you are leaking copyrighted material, and the creator can take you to court! Good luck. Good luck. Good fucking luck. Because all of these guys that are responsible for leaks, just like for all the fucking guys that aren't responsible for watching your shit, all those men that you're complaining about having robbed you out of your money, they're not fucking watching your shit because they don't want to. The same argument that Natalie tried to use on me, the same argument that I could use on myself to motivate myself to make shit every day, the same fucking shit that I had somebody come up and say to me last fucking night, the same logic there. It's the same logic here. They're not going to pay you because they don't want to see you. They don't want to see you because they don't want to watch it. They don't want to watch it because it's not that interesting. I've seen the leaks myself. Yeah. I'd pay y'all to keep your fucking clothes on, to be honest. Realistically speaking. Honestly, I would pay you to keep your clothes on. Because compared against the actual models, and then everybody else, including people like Caitlyn, bro, y'all can just go home. Go home. I don't wanna. Then, to the so-called men who comment, lol, you're showing us that one, your work is fuck. I don't want to buy it. They don't want to buy it. It's that simple. That's why you guys are begging to get the links for free. No, they're begging to get the links for free because they want to see what's in them. They just want to see them. They just want to see them. They just want to feel it all. All they want. Why would you be mad about that? Wouldn't you want people to see your shit so that they can be like, oh shit, this is good. Let me go to the source. Let me buy it so I can get more. But that's not what they want, though. They just want to see what the fuck's in there. There are some that are gonna be like, yeah, I got me a fucking bundle, bruh. Because, spank bank material. But realistically speaking, a lot of them, they probably saw what was in there and like, I can get better on the internet. Because they can get better on the internet. I could Google right now a porn star taking a photo shoot. It'd be better than what I saw there. Because what's supposed to keep me? What's supposed to keep me? I've seen everything now. Let me just go the fuck on and see something else. It's not my bag. It's not my cup of tea, darling. Then two, insecure because we make more money than you. If you weren't insecure, you wouldn't be trying to threaten people about your content. Who's more insecure? The people who are getting your shit because a whole bunch of guys over in India hacked your fucking accounts and hacked the entire database to swipe them? Or you trying to stop the people in the States or the UK or wherever the fuck they're getting it from seeing them? Like, who's actually mad here? At the same time, it's not really an insecurity. It's not all an insecurity. Like, I don't know where the fuck you pulled that from. It's not insecurity that's got these guys looking for this. It's that this happens very often. Like, this is just another version of the fappening. This shit gets leaked all the goddamn time. This isn't the first time that OnlyFans itself had a leak in particular. This just happens to be one where probably a whole bunch of y'all just come the fuck out to try and support your sisterhood because you feel the need to. That's really what that is. And then number three has me fucking dying. All the comments saying we don't care. Why are you even taking your time to post? Why are you? Why are you? I'm taking the time out to post because I want to see some fucking upset people. I want to see you upset and raging about it. That's what I want to see. That's why I'm here. Hearts and minds? Fuck your heart and fuck your mind. I want to laugh. As for all those other guys, I'm because they want to troll you? Because they find it funny? Because they want to see you upset? That's the answer I'd give. Posting identifiable nudes or photos of someone online without permission with the intent to cause emotional distress or humiliation, that's not what they're doing it for. But, okay sis, is a misdemeanor carrying a punishment of up to 6 months in jail and a $1,000 fine. Good luck. Again, you have to pin that on people who actually did the leak, and they're either behind so many VPNs that you're never going to catch them, or they're never going to be caught because you're not a tech expert. And then the shit like this, which is part of a thread that I couldn't get all of. I think Gundam got the rest of this tweet, but I didn't. This has happened. Enjoy your meals while you can before you struggle to buy a taco at Taco Bell. I don't have an OnlyFans, so why are you here though? But a lot of my girlfriends have it in order to support themselves, and you guys have to fucking ruin everything for women who are struggling because you're horny and misogynistic and that's sick. Also, to be clear, no one said that people viewing the files are breaking the law. That's what exactly a lot of you are doing. Because in order to get the files, they have to download them, which is the problem, because it's your content, remember? In order for them to see it, they have to partake of it, which would then make them guilty of soliciting and distributing it. Because you get the people who watch it. That's the same way that fucking child porn works, you dumbass. Especially if you're going to try to apply the revenge porn law, because that's what that was. Because that's basically what revenge porn is supposed to, what the law is done that is supposed to punish. You're trying to punish people, random fucking guys, and girls, because let's be honest, everybody's got a copy of these leaks somewhere. I fucking don't, because I got a homie who did, but majority of these people, they just want to see what's there. They just want to see what's there. And as far as breaking the law with the people who broke the law by getting the content leaks, and you telling people to use their brains now, kings, like, that's not gonna stop them. Some of these guys are actually too horny to fucking think. They weren't listening to you beforehand. They were here long before you ever tried to scold them. They're still gonna be here long after you're done trying to scold them. You're not gonna convince them. You try to. Good fucking luck. And then, yeah, it takes like this. This OnlyFans leak just proves men only hate girls when they're making money for themselves. I get it. We're sluts, we're disappointments, we're whores. All until you get what you want for free. Men hate women succeeding off something that they can't control. That's the tweet. Okay, but let me ask you one good question. Ain't none of this shit affecting the fairy godmother. So, like, I guess all the people who are supporting her and her venture is just all of those misogynistic men, huh? Because y'all are just posing in your bathrooms and taking photos of your negligee. I'm sorry, that's not really content production. You might think it is, but it's not. It's fucking not. Not at all. Because, the fairy godmother, Terry Town Girl, she's not just creating photo shots and photo sets. She's also doing that supposed sex work that y'all claim that you're doing by taking these photos, because she's actually banging dudes. She's actually not even just banging the guys. She is inviting them to her home so that they can volunteer to be in the thing.
I hope someone will volunteer to come and fuck me. This is getting ridiculous. please be 35 or older and in the New Orleans area and able to come during the daytime, preferably in the morning, and I'll show you a good time. I promise. I have new lingerie. So come over here and fuck me. I know you want to. Everybody wants to fuck a sexy older woman. Well, I am sexy and I am older. So come on over, honey.
Do you understand? How much of the thread, of a speckle, of a shard of charisma, of moxie, the sheer fucking chutzpah that it takes to put yourself out there on the internet, not just in like a general sexual manner, but business-wise, to put yourself out there on the internet with a business venture that can 100% fail. And not only are you received, not only are you lauded, not only do people make memes of you out of love, but to have girls who will legitimately say that shit like, this is sex work. Nigga, I don't even have this fucking level of balls. What the fuck are y'all girls complaining for? You see, it's interesting. It's interesting. People like Amaranth are legitimately using YouTubers to fight their battles for them. Not because they don't have the influence themselves to do it, like I was in my struggle against Natalie. But also, you've got girls that suddenly become economic and field experts without ever having actually put in any of the essence and knowledge and foresight to think, maybe we should try to learn from what's happening in front of us right here and attempt to innovate what we're doing. At the same time, they all become experts about law and revenge porn, despite the fact that the majority of the violence and the majority of the harassment is not coming from men. The trolling is, like 100%, the trolling is. But it's not the men who are verbally and attempting to even psychologically threaten other women. It's not men that are trying to get these people taken down. It's not men who have this habitual need to be queen bee of their environment. It's not the men who are doing this to y'all. It's you! It's you. You are doing this to yourself. It makes for me, seeing Melody and seeing Terry kick your fucking asses up and down the goddamn ratings. Because you don't have the temerity to go in their face and tell them they're not doing real work. You can't say it to Terry, because not only are you younger than her, she's putting in more fucking effort than you, and she's doing it on her own. She doesn't have a team of managers and a fucking group of fucking pay pig moderators to do it. You could say that her fan base are the pay pigs, but them pay pigs look like they're fucking winning to me, bruh. And as for the cam girls, you don't understand how you're losing. I don't I don't understand how you don't know. Like, any person who looks at these fucking tweets can tell. Because it's not just a lack of innovation, right? Because in the case of Melody, that's just an actress that is backed up by a production team that she is performing for. Like, she's not doing anything differently than what you're doing. She's verified. They must have verified her because she wouldn't be making money if she wasn't. Because that would legitimately be gaming the system. So she's obviously been through verification. And the fact that this technology has always existed, it's not old. This isn't a new thing that happened. Because you said it yourselves, girls. This has been on the platform before. You would think that with this happening like this, you would take advantage of that and apply it to yourself, right? Like, despite the fact that I may think that Natalie's a fucking joke, and everything she fucking says is made to offend someone, to project her own emotions onto them, I can learn my lesson in this situation and say, you know what? Maybe I'm not trying hard enough. Maybe I'm not putting in enough effort. Maybe let me try using something and doing something that I enjoy, that I think other people can get behind. That's how I made Top Kick. I took the advice. Shit advice from a shit person who's not even using it for herself. But I looked at the situation and I gleaned what I needed from it to understand it, just like I am now. So, what the fuck is stopping you from doing the same thing here? Other than your egos. I'm just saying. If it's supposedly the men who are holding you back, then tell your fucking sisterhood to get their fucking hands off of pulling you back into the pot. Break away. Break free, sweetie. Break free. Flap your motherfucking wings. The reason why I think it's not gonna work out, though, because let's be real here. Some of y'all haven't really been working on yourselves, and you haven't been working on your deal, or your presentation for that matter. Or some of y'all don't understand this. And that's fair, because in order to really get this, you have to really conceptualize it. And I don't think anybody other than the streamers, and maybe even Twitch Thots, understand this, right? You're trying to build a brand, and you understand the brand part, because you understand how to market yourselves as your thing. But you don't understand the difference. Some of you, those of you, the girls that are doing the OnlyFans and are using Patreon and OnlyFans and Twitter and YouTube and Instagram, all those platforms, those of you using the pipeline, if you view yourself as the product that you're selling, and that the pictures are thus content that you can sell to your fan base, this will explain to you why you're losing here. Because your monetization is not inside of the things you do moving forward. Your content is a snapshot of you. So if the snapshot that I'm working with is this, what the fuck do you think is gonna happen? Realistically speaking, even if you have the most loyal fan base, what do you think is gonna happen over time? The niche that you operate inside of will shrink. It'll get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller until you are basically putting yourself to a niche audience of one. And Mitsue, y'all bitches is not. It's simple. If you build a brand to be sold, then your monetization structure, your entire value, is in the beauty in the eye of the beholder. And if the beholder doesn't desire you or your content, then you have no spell over them. You can't keep them there. And as much as you want to yank people down to try and put the crab back in the pot, you're just boiling your souls over time. Whereas for people like Terry, for people like Melody, and for streamers in general, so lob myself in here, I guess, we're not building brands to sell people things. We're building a brand to die with it. As long as I survive, as long as Melody survives, as long as Terry survives, they will be fine. As long as they can stay afloat and keep their head above water, they have succeeded in doing the one thing that is necessary for themselves to be able to bridge that gap. And that is the notoriety, that is the longevity, and that is the innovation, and the quick thinking on one's feet. The reflex to deal with whatever blows may come your way. That comes with time. Not many people can do that. In the field of sex work, I'd imagine there's not any people who can really do that without knowing what they have in the future. Which honestly is the reason why the industry itself describes, even through its most notable industry heads, that they give you and trade you things like your youth and your time for a trade-off of adoration and spotlight for as long as they can offer to you. When they can no longer offer to you, it dries up like a fucking clam. And a lot of the girls in this situation, they're not prepared for that. They don't know how to handle it. Like Natalie doesn't know how to handle it. She's pushing up age. I talked about it before, but people like Nicole Slaw and people like Casey Tron, people like Helena Live, even though she's no longer on Twitch but is doing the same shit on YouTube, they know. They know that they're the ones next to be fitted for that crown. People like Natalie can't give it up because they can't adjust. They can't cope. It's the same thing with the girls on Chatterbait. They can't cope with the fact that they're losing to something that can change itself over time. No, you want to change the breast? There you go. You want to chase the ass? There you go. You want to change the hairstyle? Boom, done. Wonderful. Want to do anything else associated with that? Hey, you want to change the lips? Change the lips, bruh. All that at a click of a goddamn button. For the people who want the fantasy, that's what they can be supplied by. And even then, Melody, quite honestly, isn't the problem in that instance. Melody herself, the voice actress, or even Project Melody, the team that created the persona of the hentai doll itself, is not the thing that terrifies you. It's the amalgamate of the imagination of the customer. Because what Melody represents is the infinite. The utter sheer top perfection is what she represents and brings and scares you with. Because it's the inevitability. Inevitably, you're going to be replaced. Because if you're not capable of performing, they'll find something that can. Every single time you see something you might like and you see something you might not, but as soon as it appears in the ether, it returns back to the fold, replaced with a new anime waifu girl. Again, and again, and again, and again, and again. And it's that process. It's the inevitable winding of the gear that scares a lot of these people. Because the girls that aren't putting in that effort, they're getting beaten out by people who do. The girls who want to try and slide through by putting in the minimum effort and using their pipeline to stem in very gullible pay pigs, those pay pigs are leaving because they just got a giant fucking folder of spank bank material. What are you gonna hold them back with? What do you have to offer them that's not your body? Same idea and same logic can be turned right the fuck around. It's a two-way street. What do I have to offer to you, dear viewer, other than my personality? My insight, my jokes, my humor, my sardonicism, my fucking chutzpah. Those are things that I offer. That's a risk. This entire channel, it's a risk. The risk that I'm willing to take. Just like streaming and camming and sex work in general were risks that most, if not all, of these girls in these situations were willing to take. The ones who it's not working out for, what do you have to complain for? Who can you blame other than yourself? If you've been here for so long, like some of the cam girls, what's stopping you from doing the thing that some other people are doing, other than pride? For some, it's a matter of convenience. For some, it's a matter of pride. Some of these girls, they don't do it themselves, which means they have jobs. And like those girls, the girls that aren't making a success, are not making that much of a success, they should probably go get better jobs. Get a better day job that's paying it off. Make that thing a side gig, if anything. Alternatively speaking, if you don't want to take that method and you just want to do this and only this, attempt putting in more effort. No, look around at your contemporaries and see what it is that they're doing, and adapt. Because that's the only choice you have. Either innovate, adapt, or die. Shit applies to me. Shit applies to other content creators. Shit applies to other YouTubers. Shit applies to people in their field. Unique styles and opinions aside, the thing that you should take away from this, regardless of who you are, is that there is a lesson in failure. If you fail, if someone is taking business from you, you should learn what it is that they're doing. And the reaction in the situation, especially for the girls who are looking at themselves like this, it's not to undercut your value. It's to upplay your value. Because if everybody's looking at it and they're like, "Ooh, that's a piece of trash," polish the ball of dirt. And if all you got is dirt, make it a really good polished dirt. No, scratch a couple of etchings in there. Give them an offer to engrave it. Do something. Do something. That's all I'm saying. Do something. As for me, this has just been a very exciting and enthusiastic learning experience. I've seen some shit. I've honestly seen some shit. But that's really the end of the video. Look, if you want to know what I've been up to, I have a Discord now. You know, just splat that up on screen for y'all. And I don't know. After y'all recover from the roller coaster this video's been, you come by come by Discord. You know, come by, say hi, hang out in the chat. Stay tuned for what I have next. I don't fucking know what y'all motherfuckers doing when you're not here, but I'm dipping because like I need a shower because I feel dirty. I feel fucking dirty, bruh. Goodbye, everybody. Try not to be too fucking horny, okay?
Are you seriously watching porn by yourself?
Nah, I'm with my boy.